Yeah, man. So it's getting fancy in here now. All the stuff that you see going on the screen.
That was great. I was loving it. I was like, "Whoa, all right!" Really bringing up the production since I've been on the show.
Yeah, it's cool, man. I've been having fun here. But what a season we had, man. We nobody expected us to be here. It ended up being called, affectionately the We Here, the We Here season. Julius Randle, most improved player. So many other different things to talk about, man. But before we get started, we got to rip the scabs off and just talk about this playoff series, man. How was that experience? Because you were actually there,
dude. It was crazy. I was at every single home game for that series. I think it really was it was a journey. Game one, I started off right behind the Knicks bench. We should have won that game. We really only lost that because of game management, down the stretch. I mean, tough calls, the rotations and Tibbs's kind of lineups were a little weird. And, the last play where you have the leading scorer inbounding the ball was a little, that's a whole nother story. I mean,
that was a big part of everything, man, because it's like Tibbs is supposed to be the big tactician. You was expecting him to have all of the intangibles, taking care of all the I's dotted and the T's crossed, and he started off like that. It was kind of unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't blame Tibbs 100%. I was on State's podcast last night, and I was just kind of saying I really think it just comes down to a mentality sort of thing, because it's you look at Trae Young, who, games 2 and 5, I was literally right behind the Hawks bench, and me and Trae locked eyes multiple times, and it was just he was on a whole nother planet. I mean, I everybody's chanting F Trae Young, and I'm recording for content and stuff, and he's just looking at me dead in my eyes, just nodding at me. I was like, all right, this he means business. And I mean, it's just if you look at Trae's mentality, that translated through the entire team, because you didn't hear Clint Capella in the regular season saying he's going to send us on vacation. You started hearing that when, the Hawks started getting on such a huge run in the series. And, I mean, you saw guys light up like Bogdanovich, Gallinari at times, Lou Will at times for sure, Kevin Huerter. I mean, everybody. It just it was so crazy to me how much I kind of underestimated their shooting, because they got weapons on that team. And I just think then if you look at Julius, game one, it's just I think he just got in way over his head this series. I mean, overpassing, just forcing up a lot of shots. I kind of compared him to Obi at the beginning of the regular season. He was just kind of all out of sorts, forcing up shots. He just, it looks like he wasn't confident in his own abilities. And I feel like that just comes with playoff nerves. I mean, he was on teams where he's been on teams where he's never really been the first option before. He was on with the Pelicans with Anthony Davis, Kobe and the Lakers. This is the first, you get thrown into a team that's the biggest stage in all of basketball, MSG, and you're the number one option for a team that's making the playoffs for the first time in 8 years. He was going off with no fans. He was still doing really well with 2,000 fans. And then you get 15,000 people going crazy. I just feel I just think he just got nervous, And I mean, it was still he was getting consistent double-doubles, but I mean, it just didn't feel like it, and game 5, it just I mean, I wouldn't say it was we were lazy. I just didn't feel like we were as hungry as we were during games 1 and 2, especially in the fourth when we cut it down to 8 points so many times, and we couldn't really capitalize and make a huge run down late in the fourth. But I just think that's why this offseason, I would love to just get players I don't know if like veterans is the right word, but just like key contributors that have playoff experience that can like help guys like Julius Randle, RJ, just like calm down and just get them out of their heads. Like I'd love a really nice starting point guard. I'd love a better wing. But I just really think it comes down to just like keeping the same chemistry that was from this season, but just like improving the mentality when it comes down to like postseason situations. So kind of my take on the whole series.
Yeah, you said a mouthful, but it comes down to like of course, Julius Randle's his first time doing that because like you painted the picture too. Went from 2,000 to 5,000. Next thing you know, it's 15,000 people in there screaming and yelling. So that could be overwhelming. It could be overwhelming to just anybody, no matter how confident you are. Because Julius Randle, you could just tell by the way that he carries himself, the way that he treats his kid, and the way that he treats the team, the way the Kobe mentality of getting the guys to put shots up no matter where they are. They always find the gym. They had to actually scold them at one point in the season to make them not practice because they were always shooting around, always getting shots up and stuff like that. So he's I'm saying that just to say that he was just trying so hard to do his best, for us, man. So when he was struggling, it was frustrating. I remember that first game, I was so pissed.
I watched that.
Yeah, you watched it, right? I freaking lost. Mm-hmm. I lost it, man. You know what I'm saying? I lost it because it's just the competitive nature of a fan, But like you said, as the series went on, you start to realize that that we really aren't as good as we are. Like you mentioned shooters, but we do have the shooters really, the percentages, But when you talk about like real like just like in-game shooters, like Gallinari could put the ball on the floor and shoot. Every single one of their guys could put the ball on the floor and shoot. Our guys can't do that. RJ, is these guys are just really just spot up shooters. They have to catch it in rhythm to shoot. Atlanta is not really a rhythm shooting team. They can catch it, put the ball on the floor, step back, and shoot a three. We only have like Emmanuel Quickly, and Emmanuel Quickly didn't really play a lot, man. So it was crazy. Another thing I want to add to it is just the coaching. Nick McMillan, he was actually the interim coach. Their coach got fired in the beginning of the year. He took over. Everything started coming together at the end. They actually went, 23 and something towards the end of the year, where they were like probably the hottest team in basketball. So they just happened to come into the playoffs, playing like they never played before. This is not the same Atlanta team that we played earlier on the year, and they just made all the right adjustments. Like everything that I thought that we were going to do to Atlanta, they did it right back to us, man. So it was frustrating to watch. How was the energy in there, though?
Dude, it was. I mean, from game one, the last game I was at was the home opener of the 2019 season, and I mean, there was definitely energy there, but there was nothing like, the energy of in that building. I mean, the last time I was basically at playoff games was like elementary school, like through that whole 2013, 2012-13 season, I mean, and then just coming back, with like, more knowledge of the game and more knowledge of this team and how everything, like works and how this team works and these players, like I think the energy was crazy at game one. I mean, nobody sat down. Like everybody was just on their feet every single possession. Game two was I've never experienced anything like that in my life. I mean, I've never experienced the energy that was outside of MSG after that win. I mean, they shut down 7th Avenue, I mean, it was just like the building just was the roof was off the building, like the whole every single game, and I think like game 5 there was energy, but it didn't feel like the same sort of energy as games 1 and 2 were, like, yeah, everybody was like really excited, but just like I feel like the energy kind of seemed to like die down, I think as like the series and the game was kind of like being like kind of like taken away from us. But I mean, when RJ dunked on Bogdanovic and Obi got that alley-oop, I mean, it was crazy. I'm shocked that I still had a voice after those games 1 and 2. But I think you were at game 2, right?
No, I was actually at Clyde's. I went to Clyde's. I got a
Oh,
whole
nice,
other
nice, nice.
story to tell you, but I'll let you finish with
I
your
love Clyde's. I love Clyde's. I've been there.
Mhm.
But I mean, yeah, just like, I mean, even as like at game one, like just even outside the entrance, like everybody's screaming, but then like, you first get there and then more fans and more fans arrive. Like it felt like you're kind of like right back at home again, and it was just like, I almost felt bad for some Hawks fans. Like game two, like there was these like two Hawks fans that sat like a couple rows like next to me, and they just all they did was sit, and the whole garden just started booing them, and I was like, damn. I was, and I mean, Trae Young's dad was next to me at game two. That was really interesting because that was the game I brought the bird pictures to. So like shoot around, like Trae Young's there, so like I made like a tiny video just like holding up bird poster, not really thinking it's gonna do anything. And then like I look at my Instagram stories and there's like this like other Knicks account that's like, oh yeah, Trae Young's dad's right next to me. And I'm like, oh, that's really funny. And then I just look to my right and he's right there. And I'm like, whoa, that's hey.
How was his energy? Because he was talking a lot, like trying to defend his son and all this other stuff. How was his energy in the building?
He was really calm and composed, and he didn't really say that much. Like, when a lot of the foul calls were going towards the Hawks, like he'd shake his head a lot and like did like a lot of this and like got really excited. And none of the fans like booed him or went after him. Like they all just kind of like kept their distance. Like they knew like who was there. And I mean, a lot of them like got pictures with him at halftime and stuff. And like, he was super nice and like down to earth. And it was just like, it was kind of like Trae's. Like he just like blocked all of the noise and the energy out and just really focused on the Hawks and his kid, I mean, which is totally understandable. And it was just like very surprising. And, I went up to him after the game and I was like, great game. Your son is a freaking star and all the respect in the world to you and your kid. And he was really nice and humble and thanked me. Cause I'm just like, oh, I'm not gonna, I'm a positive guy. I'm not going to go and curse at him and be like, you suck. And just, I didn't even, yeah, exactly. That's the first thing I said to you the first time I came on this show. It's just like, I don't want to start anything, and it's just like, it's just pointless. It's like, he's his dad, it's like, why do you have to do that? And it's like the whole thing with like spitting on Trae Young, like that was way out of bounds. Yeah. I had no idea that even happened when I was there. I mean, Trae Young made it obvious during game 5. He like turned to the celebrity row and he was like, "Are you gonna spit on me next?" And like mimicked spitting like on the court, and that was crazy. It was just like it was really interesting, like studying Trae Young and like his parents, and they were just very like casual and they're very good at like blocking out negative energy, which I thought was really interesting to see.
Yeah, so he comes from a good family. Like this whole thing here, because I have kids too. Like my oldest son, he played basketball for a little while, and whenever I could see him struggling, the kids always look at their parents. So I'm quite sure too. You play basketball and things like that. You're always looking for your parents, maybe your mom or your dad. They always have that thing, that connection with you. Even my son has an actual older brother too that I helped raise, and I gave him a wristband. That because he was nervous, he was super nervous. So listen, don't be nervous. Put the wristband on, and then whenever you get on whatever, just look at me and whatever, and just remember the wristband. So things like that, So when I hear that, it resonates with me and stuff, man. So I want to talk about the positive vibe stuff, man, because after that first game, we lost. Everybody was upset, whatever. The second game we won. Then it turned into the Trae Young stuff, and like you said, you mentioned the spitting incident. So now it becomes the ugly New Yorker now, and then with all of our positive energy that we had to get us to this point, the whole we here thing, everything was positive. The second we get a win, the whole floor comes out, and everybody's going crazy and cursing and stuff like that. Fast forward to game 5 now. This is a must-win game for us, and we ended up losing it. And then now you see all of the trolls outside, the loopy blogger, that guy, they're out there with Spider-Man drinking Hennessy and all kind of stuff like that. That's not real stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, I want to say that we probably ended our own season, just with our own bad vibes. We put the pressure, the pressure of New York is there anyway. but just everyone not expecting Julius Randle to succeed. The whole Elfrid Payton thing, they were getting at his mother. It's like this is all stuff that we generated. We basically killed Elfrid's confidence. His energy felt like he didn't even want to be here anymore. So that trickled down. And then Tom Thibodeau had to take him out the lineup, and that screwed up what we were doing because Derrick Rose belongs on the bench with our bench guys because that's what was galvanizing us throughout the whole year. Like we would have our starters do their thing, the bench will come in, give us a different look, and then we'll just mix it up as the game went along. We lost all of that. You know what I'm saying? So with the positive vibes, we have control of that. You know what I'm saying? So we're a big part of this whole thing. Just like the Knicks play, and the management do their thing to get the players here. Coaching staff do what they got to do to put the game plan together. But our job as fans is that we have to be that sixth man and add more to this piece. Being ugly the way that we were, I think that we just totally destroyed ourselves with all of that. What do you think about what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I mean, at game one, like the Trae Young chant started so randomly. Like it wasn't even like he did anything. Like it just randomly started happening. And I kind of feel like it was probably people like up top probably said it, and then the whole arena chanted it. So I just kind of feel like it was like people like just wanted a villain, maybe,
right?
Like in the sense, like we've been here before with the Reggie Millers of the world and the whole villains of New York, and I just feel like people are like let's just make a new villain. I guess I don't really know, like, because it was so random. And then speaking about Elfrid, I was at game 5. I was right next to the Knicks tunnel. So, like, I got to see all of them walking out and walking in. And I saw Elfrid after he shot around and he was walking back. And we, cheered him on. We're like, Elfrid, like, what's up? And he, looked at us. And he, was, talking to Johnny Bryant, said, something with the F word. And, we didn't really know if that was, towards us or, something. But he just looked defeated. He just looked like he didn't want to be there. And it was the same energy after the game too when he walked back. His head was down and he looked like he didn't really want to be seen in a sense, which was interesting to me. And it was just it really was just I just think going out of the starting lineup was such a confidence killer. I mean, Elfrid Payton was played pretty badly, but I mean, he still consistently got shots in the paint up. You can't take that away from him. It's just it was really interesting just kind of seeing everybody's vibes and their own energy, especially at game 5, because there was so many fights that went on. Solomon Hill and Nerlens Noel got into it at halftime, and they had to hold back Solomon and Nerlens, which is crazy. Taj and DeAndre Hunter got into it, but I thought it was really honorable by Taj. They pushed each other around, and then next possession, Taj hugged him and just completely ended the whole beef mid game, it's a Taj thing to do, he's not there to start fights. He's just a vet trying to help his team. So that was just really interesting, just kind of seeing whole Elfrid's whole demeanor. It just looks like he just didn't look happy and confident, So it's just a big 180 from when this season and last season,
Yeah, absolutely. For the season, Elfrid actually averaged 10 points and 3 assists, man. So, like you said, he was able to drive to the basket, he was able to defend, he was able to contribute to get to at least set the table to get you to Derrick Rose, because the whole thing is we don't need Derrick Rose to be playing 38 minutes, 40 minutes a game. That's kind of counterproductive to what we want to do, So we need Elfrid to get in there to give us that 20-minute head start. That way Derrick Rose can be there to finish the game for us, So it's all messed up. So I think fans kind of lost sight of that, and that trickled down onto the court because. You like to think that these guys don't get all block it out the way that Trae Young did. Trae Young blocked out all that noise and was actually talking back, and his dad was there. Nobody was afraid of any repercussions or anything like that. None of that fazed them. But not everybody's like that. The bright lights and the noise and all the disrespect. A lot of people can't process that, man. So say like a guy like Elfrid Payton. Like remember that time when I forgot I can't think of the guy's name, but I remember he pushed that player down on the floor because
Yeah,
he
Jake
tried.
Crowder.
Yeah, Jay Crowder. So he's one of those guys that he's all about respect for the game and stuff like that. So this whole I'm just using that as an example, trying to paint a picture that maybe that's the way he is. To honorable basketball player. Listen, don't try to to outshine us here. You're being disrespectful, man. So if he plays along those lines, especially when when reporters ask him stupid questions, he always gives them like like a kind of like a smart, sarcastic kind of reaction. So I just think that he was just fed up with the whole nonsense, and then he was over. It was just over for him.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, man.
It was just like, it was just sad. It's
It's
like,
just sad. Yeah.
I mean, like I remember like after like D Rose started and we lost like game 3 or 4, like his mom was like clapping back at everybody on Twitter. I mean, like, and like somebody asked me that too, like on Instagram, and I was like, it's a fair response, like it's the kid's mom, like, and fans like were going after, I believe it was like Alfred's kid or something, and like him and his kid, like it wasn't good, but like Derrick Rose like starting really interests me too, like because it's like it really gets me like thinking, like I'm kind of torn, and like I get both sides of the argument. Because it's like Derrick Rose was so consistent when he was starting. We got like basically back-to-back 30-point games. And game 5, he was just burnt out. But like at the same time, like Alfred started and then Derrick Rose took over in the second half and always helped us, start runs or just like build momentum. So that's why I really would like a really good starting point guard. And then you keep Derrick Rose to have him as your backup. I think that would help us immensely. And like I was saying to State last night, like Luka Vildoza like excites me like extremely. Like Prigioni just said today, like he loves him and the Knicks are gonna love him and fans will. And like I mean, Campazzo, like the guy on the Nuggets, like says he's really good. So I mean, I really don't think like if we don't get like a star or like key contributors, like and just kind of stick with the same sort of guys, like it's not like a Kevin Durant or Kyrie or bust summer. It's like you can get some good contributors, maybe a crazy star or something. But like if we just don't get any of that, like we have such a good foundation and core, like I'm just excited to see like what happens with everything,
Yeah, we have like a basic like a skeleton. We have a skeleton team basically. Everything worked out the right way. Of course the floor fell out at the end, but we have a basic blueprint of how we could set things up. Julius Randle could still stay in the same facilitating position that he's in now. We need to get shooters around him. We need to get somebody to help him. We already know that. RJ is going to develop and get him and take to the next level. Manuel quickly, we expect him to take it to the next level. Obi Toppin's an X factor as well. We expect him to take it to the next level. So we have guys in place that we can pencil in to take us into next season. With like $55 to $60 million. The sky's the limit to what we can do. Chances are, like especially for the last couple of years, we only were able to sign like these 1-year vets and stuff like that. But every year that those vets got a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? This year, for this season, we got Bullock and Burks and all these guys that surprised us with the talent level. So I'm expecting, hopefully, that that this season that we just took the team to the next level with these guys. That more teams, more free agents, and most importantly, the agents of the free agents, get together and put these the pills in these guys' head to get them to say, listen, maybe we should start looking at the Knicks. Because that's how it starts. With Leon Rose and Worldwide West and all these guys. They have the inside track, but with all these different player agents and stuff, man. So there has to be like a background conversation that we're not seeing, to get everyone to come aboard. So I mean, like let's say like with free agency, like you talked about the point guard, like what kind of guys are you looking to bring here?
Yeah, sure. I'm just pulling up a list that I posted on my Instagram. Like a ton of like notable free agents.
Okay.
Like there's guys like Lonzo. I know like State like really wants Colin Sexton. That would be fine. But like if I'm looking at somebody like Lonzo Ball, like is he a scorer? Not really, but like he can get hot. but he is such a playmaker, and like the first thing he when he looks up, first thing he's going to do is look for open guys. And I think like if you can get somebody that can provide that spark, like if you look at like Derrick Rose, like he did that, and look at what happened to Obi, look what happened to Quickly, like their confidence rose, and like now we're talking and praising their whole performance throughout this season. So like if we can get like, could you imagine like a full court alley-oop pass from Lonzo to Obi at MSG? Like
Rose didn't Rose catch somebody with a full court alley-oop at one point
to Obi Toppin in Atlanta?
Yeah.
Like it's like, do you want more moments of that? Like even at win or lose, like you just want to build the team chemistry, and it's already been built so well throughout this season. You want it to just even be taken to more and more heights with this new season and this upcoming season, which is why I think like, Lonzo would be such a good piece in addition to this team. So that's somebody who I'm definitely looking for. I wish we got him at trade deadline, but I mean, that's fine. We still ended up in the playoffs, so I'm not complaining. But like, yeah, and I'm just like thinking of like wing pieces, like DeMar DeRozan interests me. He's kind of like, he's not Toronto DeMar DeRozan anymore, but I mean, he's been consistent, and I would love to get a guaranteed 20 point per game scorer every night, and I think you keep Reggie Bullock maybe on the bench just to provide some sparks from three. It's just like I would love to keep Frank. Like I'm a big Frank guy. Like, and I just think if you can build his confidence up too, like I was saying, like as well to state, like game one, you're subbed in against the leading scorer, and he was sitting on the bench, but also like standing and like going back and forth with like Norvell Pell and the guys like at the corner all the time, like when plays are happening. It's just like, I mean, I can relate. Like my JV basketball team, I was subbed in like mid first half against this kid who just kept hitting floater after floater over me. So I'm like, I can relate. It's like, how do you guard that? Like you just put your hands up and just hope for the best. It's just like, I didn't really like that Taj and Frank were so at the top of the key. Like I'd love it if Taj stayed back a little bit more and Frank kind of let Trey go up a little bit instead of pressing him. But I mean, again, like it's fine that he pressed him. Because could you imagine if he got a steal? I mean, that'd be the biggest play of his career.
All the Frankers would have been going crazy if that happened, man.
Absolutely. And like you look at like Reggie Bullock when he got the steal against Trae Young and they called it a foul, like the whole garden rose up to their feet. So I mean, I just feel like if you can build some of these players' confidence up a bit more, I honestly I feel like we could do a back-to-back playoff appearance. Like
I think so too. I think we're locked. I think we're pretty much locked in with everything that we have going here.
Yeah, it's very likely and possible, which is like super great. And I love that. I just like, I feel like the first step is just like getting Derrick Rose back and keeping Taj and Derrick. Like I love what they bring to this team and this culture and just the chemistry. Like if you look at Taj, like he really helped Obi. Like him and Derrick really helped Obi. Like, like you didn't really see like Obi as confident from deep as you saw at the beginning of the regular season. Like, he was just dropping threes at ease, at MSG in that series. And I mean, he was, he's mainly just kind of like you said on a lot of your shows, like he just cuts back and forth from the baseline, just like pointing up. But when he gets that opportunity and you get that alley-oop and you have 50,000 people chanting your name, like, it's gonna give you confidence. So that's just like what I'd love to see. Similar pieces stay, get some new additions that will help like build playmaking and confidence to players. Kawhi would be an absolute dream, and I think he'd be such a good fit. Not only for improving the defense, especially in postseason. Like he just went off, got 45 like last night or 2 nights ago. So like you can get Kawhi and have that start and get a solid starting point guard, like, and get Kawhi and Randall on the same starting lineup, that would just be crazy, and I'd love that. So
yeah. Well, Tom Thibodeau, he kind of runs like a pseudo kind of like a triangle kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So like if you get a point guard, we just have to just we kind of have to worry about like what exactly Tom Thibodeau is going to do with it, with the pieces that he does get. So like let's say what would be your preference? Let's say like if we was to start the season now, hypothetically, let's say if we was to get Lonzo Ball, and let's say if it's kind of hard to play these games, right? But let's say if he was to get Kawhi, let's say Kawhi gets eliminated from Dallas, and then he's like signs with the Knicks, right? And then the Knicks somehow were able to also get Ball. So how would you like to see that team win?
Yeah, I'd love. First, I think that starting lineup would be Lonzo, RJ, Kawhi, Randall, and Mitch. Like, that's a solid core. Like, you get Lonzo Ball starting that offense and just feeding people. Like, that's just automatically that's going to start everybody on a high boost, just like, which hopefully could build some runs early on in the first. And then you get Derrick Rose in that second unit in that second half, and then just skyrocket that momentum. And I mean, just like, if you get Kawhi on this team, like, what we needed so much in that series as well was, rebounds, Mitch, and just defensive stops, really. Like, if you get Kawhi, like, Trae Young is not, like, he better, listen, he has some great ball handling skills, but any one of those Hawks or any team in the NBA, like, you're going to get stripped. Kawhi has been the defensive player of the year. Like, he would build such a such a solid start point for this team and defense on this team, and just consistency. Like, Randall in late game situations, you see him with the ball. He's gotten. I will say this, even though that he's missed many, like basically every shot, he's gotten really good looks. Like, if you look at that game against LA, where if we won, we would have clinched a playoff berth. I believe before it went into overtime, he got an easy wide open layup look. Or like, Brooklyn, that was just terrible. Kyrie touched it, and that was ridiculous. But he's like gotten good looks. And just like the Hawks game one, like, you see Derrick Rose cut to the corner and he's wide open. And I'd rather have an open three than a contested fadeaway shot, which was double teamed.
Off the wrong foot, fading off the wrong hand and everything, man. It's like,
yeah, I don't even think it would have counted in the first place if that went in. Like, I just think he got it off too late. But I just feel like you also, like, why was Alec Burks inbounding? He's coming off the bench, has 27 points. Like, I don't know, but I just, like, I'd love to see Lonzo and Kawhi would be a dream come true for this team, and chemistry and morale boosting.
Yeah, it's possible. Once you have the draft picks that we got like 5 draft picks for the next few drafts.
And solid picks in this first round too, like 19 and 21 or something.
Yeah, so the stage is already set for us to do anything. Me and Evergreen, we went down. Shout out to him. He's in the chat here. We went down a rabbit hole the other night. I'm still trying to get that video together, man. But we went down a rabbit hole and we were able to get a bunch of different players put together with the salary cap. It was kind of crazy how we did it. But it just goes to show you that if you have enough time, you could put together a scenario where these things could actually work, and we don't sound like a bunch of crazy maniacs like we always been sounding like the last couple of years. Because we are Knicks fans, especially the media always plants these things in there, and we freaking go crazy, like with the whole Damian Lillard stuff. I did a video on that as well. But like just to bring back to the Kawhi thing, Tom Thibodeau has a tendency to just go for this, give the ball to the star. You know what I'm saying? So if we were to get Kawhi, obviously the ball go to Kawhi. But the thing about it is that the difference between Kawhi and Randall is that Kawhi is just like a robot. They always making fun of him, make like he's the Terminator. He doesn't make any emotions and stuff like that. But Julius Randle's the complete opposite. He wears his emotions right on his sleeve. You know what I'm saying? So if he misses shots, if he's getting beat up, if he's making turnovers, anything like that, everything is coming right through his personality, and that saturates through the team as well, man. So getting a Kawhi right off the bat, he's just not going to be afraid of MSG. He just might not. He's just a weird guy, man. So, but he would give us the cheat code finally, somebody that we can give the ball to, and we know that they won't be afraid to make that shot. So I think that's what we've been missing all year. Somebody that's just not afraid to for the moment, not afraid to get the ball and make something happen. We haven't had that in a long time. We got it in Julius Randle, but just in those moments, in the moments where it's tight, Kawhi would be the cheat code for that. Do you think Kawhi would like to play with this team? Do you think
Absolutely.
his fits?
Totally. I think I don't think Thibodeau runs. I mean, he's run such a tight ship, and it's like the thing. It's like if you bring in Kawhi, it's not going to be like a Brooklyn Big Three, so many egos thing. He's only going to help that sort of department, right? I was like Stephen A. He was saying stars definitely want to come to New York, but if you look at the stars nowadays, they just have control of every decision. You look at LeBron on any team that he's in. He's the GM, the president, the owner, everything of that whole team. And I just Kawhi's the complete opposite. He's really just going to be there to help the team no matter what, get the job done, and just get a win, which is exactly the player that we need. He's so clutch in late game situations. I mean, this game 6 against the Mavericks. I mean, that crazy shot with 5 seconds left against Philly with the crazy rolling around the rim. It's just I think any challenge that that was placed in front of him, he just completely crashed right through and conquered it. So I think that's exactly what we need on this team. And I think just the growth and potential of this team, it has to excite so many stars, which is why New York Knicks are now such a hot destination. So I think Kawhi would love to go on this team. Absolutely.
Yeah, just I was telling you earlier today, I was in front of the Barclays Center a lot today. Due to the whole day job stuff, man. So just being out there, there's a lot of bars down there. It's like a vibrant, area that you would think would be buzzing, during a massive playoff run when they have 3 Hall of Fame guys in their prime all playing on the same team. You would think that it would be chaos in front of Barclays Center. It's totally not the case. You would never think that there was going to be a playoff game later on at 7:30 tonight. I was out there maybe like around 3:30, and people were just walking casually like nothing. There was no net fans out there. You couldn't see anybody in groups and stuff like that. For the Knicks playoff games, you could see people outside in jerseys and stuff walking around like they're crazy. You know what I'm saying? On the way to Clyde's for game 2. I got caught in traffic. You know what I'm saying? So I was a little bit late. Almost missed the freaking game. I got there right on time. But on the way there was so many Knicks fans in the street. Just going around MSG and stuff like that, just the whole city. They were all over the place, man. So the energy is just totally different with the Brooklyn Nets. And I think stars and not stars are just players in the NBA. They see that. They see everything that we see. You know what I'm saying? So that they see they got Harden, they got Kyrie, they got Durant, and nobody gives a damn. Maybe for the the overall NBA landscape, but New Yorkers themselves, they know they see that nobody cares in the city about Brooklyn, man. So they see that. But the thing that helps is that the Knicks themselves got themselves to this point. You know what I'm saying? So that sets the table for guys to want to come here. Because who wouldn't want to play like that? Who wouldn't want to play for a team where fans make whole songs that say F the other player? You know what I'm saying? The guys are shutting down 7th Avenue, and it's thousands of fans going screaming and crazy. Just the way that the top blows off just for even the smallest play in Madison Square Garden. So as a basketball lover, as guys that want to take the game to the next level, like a Trae Young in the Garden would be crazy because the way that he handled himself, the pressure and stuff like that, he would be a god here. That whole situation, man. So
if you look like at Trae Young, I believe it was like right before he was drafted, like he does an interview like basically at the Knicks facility or something, and he's like basically like a Knicks like practice thing on and just talking about how he'd love to play here and like he loves the energy. And it's just like it's just really funny because it's like the complete opposite of what he's become now. And I mean, I think it also like talking about like you said, like the energy like at Clyde's outside was crazy. Like when I arrived at MSG, like like just like getting over there, you just see piles. It's like a sea of blue and orange. I mean, it was insane, and like everybody was like screaming, chanting like crazy. Like there were so many like shows and stuff going on the corners of that street too, of like getting like fan interviews and stuff. So I just like the energy I just will never forget. And that was just like such a blast to be a part of. And I mean, I just like it has to excite some star. You think that's going to be a free agent this summer. So I think the sky's the limit, which I'm so happy that I get to say for like the first time in forever that, the potential is there. So.
Yeah, I'm happy that you get to see this era of him because I came up during the Ewing era, '85 when he was drafted, and like when the Knicks were got Pat Riley and stuff, I was just coming into high school, that type of thing. So I'm already building my own fandom. I'm getting into fights in school over the Knicks and stuff. So that's the whole thing. Hip hop was going crazy. If guys weren't freestyling in the lunchrooms, and we were like trying to kill each other over the Knicks and stuff. So, I'm glad that you're able to experience this, man, because this is like you got to see the table being set up until now. And then now you get to see, the next level, man. And it's going to take you into your 20s because, like I said, the Ewing era started when I was like, what, 6? The Pat Riley era started when I was like, like 13, whatever. And then that went on until my first son was born in 2003. So that I'm talking about from a little baby, into high school age, into a grown man. That was the whole Knicks winning era during that time. So it's sweet, man. So I'm glad that you're able to experience it now, especially where it's like a memory that you would just never forget, man. So I'm glad for that too.
Yeah, it's great. I was born in 03 too. We got that. And I mean, like, it's just like, it's crazy, like going from like, starting out my Knicks fandom in like 07, 08, and like Gallinari's on this team. And then like flash forward like 10 plus years later, he has a weird taxi driver haircut on the Hawks. Yeah. Like, I mean, that it's just crazy how time flies,
Yeah, that's funny, man. Taxi driver. That's exactly what was it, Robert De Niro?
Oh yeah, I literally like screamed at the bench. I was like, "How many times have you watched Taxi Driver?" Because like he literally has the exact same thing, and like I mean, like just like back to the behavior, like you can joke around. Like I mean, I put a side by side thing of him and like Marcin Gortat, like for laughs. I mean, just like it's just like I'm so happy. Like we go from such like a negative time period that was like the Porzingis era. Personally, like it's just like you had such a young star, but people were like just so negative, and now it's just like the complete 180. So it's just, I mean, it's just so I think we're all so grateful that we get to live in a time period where now we are back in the limelight of the league.
Yeah. With the Kristaps thing too, man, he also brought a lot of negativity on himself too. And then also too that they all brought it back to us. We were all fighting each other. Knicks fans was like, oh look what Dolan did. Dolan traded our best player, and it's infighting. All that infighting is no good either, man. So I just like the simple fact that for the majority of the time, Knicks fans are in unison. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is in agreement with everything that's happening. Whether or not you want a certain player or whatever, we're still on the page where everybody is positively thinking that, okay, listen, we're on the right path and stuff, man. So I just would like to keep that going, man. Like you have in the bottom, positive vibes only. That's the theme when me and you guys when me and you get together, just for everyone to just stay on that positive path, because you see what happened when we got negative. Once we got negative, the floor fell out. That's just a metaphor for life, a metaphor for what's going to happen in the future. And we just have to keep that positivity going. That way we can just get to where we need to go.
Totally. I everything you said, I agree with exactly.
Yeah, man. Okay, cool. So you was born in 03, man. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it makes me feel old, man. Because I mean, my son, he played basketball for a little while, but me and him got a thing going on right now, man. So he stopped playing basketball in spite of me. He actually was pretty. Yeah, he actually was pretty good, but he stopped playing. I guess just to get back at me or whatever. And he looks at me as a weirdo, a Nick weirdo, because I still got the Knicks hat. I'm still talking Knicks. But we haven't won in God knows how long. But it's great to see it now, man. So hopefully, through the change with that, hopefully everything changes, man. This whole COVID stuff, and everyone just learns and just get back to being human beings, man. Because being cooped up in a place makes you think about what matters, and then like you want to be more positive now, because why waste time being negative when something can happen and we'll be like in quarantine again and you're gonna miss people. You know what I'm saying? So
totally. No, I agree. And I mean, like, it's like for some fans, I'm sure going back to those games 1 and 2 and 5, the series was probably, you never know, it could have been the first sporting event that you went to pre-pandemic, which it was for me. Like, I mean, after, being fully vaccinated, it's just like going right back to a place where the energy and the roof was completely off the second you didn't even walk in the arena, just outside. It just like brings everything kind of back full circle. Like when the city is positive and the Knicks fans are happy and everybody's winning, it's a match made in heaven. So yeah,
no doubt, man. All right, man. So thanks for coming in, man. It's long overdue, man. We should have did a few podcasts since the last time me and you got together, man. So we got to keep that up. There's gonna be a lot to talk about this offseason too, man. So
yeah, totally. It's always a pleasure coming on and just just being positive. It's great, and I'm getting my show back up and running. I'm having Papa Left on from Knicks Fan TV. He's the guy that, like you said before, like makes a lot of the rap songs and like interviews fans outside of the Garden. So it's just a very good time for Knicks fans, just for everybody just to be very happy, and I'm sure we'll connect and just get right back to where we are very soon. So
okay. So are you still on YouTube, or are you on Instagram now? You're gonna be back on YouTube?
It's gonna be on. Yeah, my show's just gonna be on. It's gonna be on YouTube, and I'll upload, the audio version and the YouTube version at the same time, and just put it out on my Instagram. And I'll probably do like snippets of it and post it just to get people engaged to the full episode. But yeah, you're always welcome. I've had you on my show before, so you're always welcome back anytime. And yeah, I have to figure out how to work StreamYard, especially on a MacBook like I am right now. Like, you can't screen share or do any like the cool things you can do on here. So, I mean, it's just going to be just kind of figuring out like my own thing on this really cool platform,
Yeah. All right, cool, man. So it's this is Aidan Donahue. This is Knicks Community Podcast. I wish I would have had that queued up, man, but I didn't download it. But I mean, like you can find Knicks Community Podcast just by typing in Knicks Community Podcast on Instagram and also on YouTube. And you'll see him here, whatever. I'll post all of the links in the description when we get out of here, man. So thank you, Aidan, man. Thank you for coming in with me and talking and stuff, man. You look very comfortable in your bed there.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Gotta do anything you can to be comfortable nowadays, right?
Yeah, I got you, man. All right, man. Thanks again for coming in, bro.
Thank you so much.
All right. Have a good night.
Thanks.
All right, guys. DiehardKnicks Podcast. That was Aidan Donahue. As you can see, he's gonna get his podcast going back up. He got Papa Left on this podcast, man. That's great. So anybody that wants to come on this podcast, man, hit me up. I'm hitting you up. You gotta hit me back. You know what I'm saying? If anybody out there wants any topics that you want me to cover, any rants that you want me to go crazy on, man, just let me know on Instagram, on wherever you find DiehardKnicks Podcast, hit me up and let's connect, man. So without further ado, 4 fingers to the forehead, tucking the thumb. Salute. See you guys on the next one. Peace.